Mayor. We are ready.
All right. Thank you, Susan. Certainly want to welcome everyone to the Vinton Town Council meeting for this November 1st, 2022. And we will start with the roll call, please, Susan.
Councilmember Lyles.
Here.
Councilmember Mullins.
Here.
Councilmember Stovall.
Here.
Mayor Gross.
Here. We do have a quorum this evening. We use the moment of silence here in the town of Vinton. That way everyone can pray or meditate as they see fit. If you pray during that time, and I certainly hope you will, I plan to, I would ask you to keep this country, this community, and certainly this council meeting in your thoughts and prayers. I'll ask you to stand for that, and while we're standing, we'll have the pledge. Councilman Lyles, who's going to do that today?
We have the pleasure of having the president of the Vinton Historical Society, Randy Lehman's going to do it for us.
All right, very good. So if you folks would stand for those two items, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, as I say, good to see all of you here this evening. I would remind you at the front door there is a copy of the agenda if you would like, and it also includes the guidelines for participation that we follow here in our council meetings. And with that, we'll move on to our community events. The Vice Mayor isn't here, so are you going to pinch it this evening?
I can do it. November 11th is Veterans Day, and we want to thank all of our veterans. And then also on November 11th at the Vinton War Memorial at 5:30, the Boy Scouts will be performing a flag burning ceremony and also laying a wreath. And I understand the mayor will be doing the welcoming there.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Be glad to.
Don't forget, November 11th.
Thank you for that.
At the Lancer Lot on November the 12th at 7 p.m., Virginia Tech takes on UNC on the ice. And then at Rosie's, they have free entertainment, and on November the 4th, Midnight Blues at 8 p.m., and November the 5th is Empty Bottles at 8 p.m. And my house, that's November 1st, 2nd, 3rd. Twin Creeks Brewing, every Wednesday is bingo at 6 p.m. Every Thursday is trivia at 6 p.m. And they have live music and food trucks all day Friday and Saturday. And then the Christmas parade is December the 1st with the tree lighting starting at 6 p.m. And at 7 p.m. the parade kicks off. More to come on that.
Cool.
That's it, unless anybody else has anything, Debbie or anybody.
Any other announcements? Nope. All right, thank you, sir.
Don't
Appreciate
mention
that. All right, next item is request to postpone or change the order of the agenda. Council, you have anything? Staff? Nope. Okay. If not, we will move on to the consent agenda. Tonight, it contains the minutes of the regular meeting of October 4th, 2022. Are there any additions or changes? Hearing none, we'll entertain a motion for approval.
So moved.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second for approval. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. All right, now we move on to my favorite part of the meeting, which is the awards and introductions and presentations. And this evening we will start with Donna Collins, who's going to talk about veterans. Oh, there we go. Good evening, Donna.
Good evening, Mayor, members of council. I swear it's going to be the next protected class. All right. I can't see you. So I'm here this evening to recognize those individuals who, despite the risk and sacrifice, raised their hand to serve and defend this country. Our veterans, active duty service members, guardsmen, and reservists. Their service has helped keep our country and its citizens safe and free. And I'd also like to take a moment to acknowledge those families of service members and veterans who help shoulder the weight of war and burdens of sacrifice. Their support is immeasurable. On November the 11th, people throughout our country will gather together to remember, to honor, and to pay gratitude for those who have served our country. I ask that you take an extra moment and say thank you for your service and sacrifice. It's a way to say we remember and we appreciate everything they have done for us. As a small token of appreciation and for those that have served our country and continue to serve our community, I would like each of the following individuals to come up to the podium. Mayor Gross.
Wow, thank you very much.
Chief Drummond. Sergeant Altieri.
See that?
Pretty cool.
Okay.
And Officer Dibble. And I guess our other individuals couldn't be here this evening, so I just want to take a moment and say thank you, and we appreciate it. And if you have any questions or comments?
Well, no, just briefly, I'd like to thank my fellow veterans. Certainly appreciate your service to this country, and it's good to see many veterans continue to serve our country and our community. So thank you for that. And Donna, thank you for this. You always do a great job recognizing the veterans. Thank you
Thanks.
for that. All right. Now, just so you folks will see, this is what she gave us. Pretty neat little, what do you call that, shadow box?
Shadow box, yeah.
Yeah. Very nice. Thank you, Donna. Okay, and with that, we will move on to our next presentation. And Chief Drummond, I think the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. Today we get the distinct pleasure of introducing three of our newest recruits from Salem Cardinal Academy in Salem. You know, while we enjoyed the summer months, these three have been working pretty hard at our training academy with rigorous testing, physical, CrossFit, and of course written examinations, driving, shooting, you name it, 10-hour days. So today is a long day. I'm sure they've been waiting for it. I'm sure the weeks have been very slow to get to this point, but here we are. We made it, and we obviously have a lot of family, friends here to share this moment with them. So at this point, I'll call Deputy Chief Lawless up here to give us a briefing on each one of the newest Vincent officers.
Mr. Mayor,
Evening, sir.
members of council, town staff, appreciate the opportunity to introduce to you our three new recruits. The first recruit I will introduce to you is Officer Stephanie Walsh. So Officer Stephanie Walsh graduated from Roanoke College in 2014 with a bachelor's degree in psychology and a concentration in East Asian studies. She began her public service career as a 911 dispatcher for Roanoke County and the town of Vinton, and was there for almost 6 years. She decided to become a law enforcement officer because she wanted to make the world a safer place for her loved ones. She doesn't expect to change the world by doing her job, but does hope that she can teach life lessons that she has learned throughout her life, and for the people that she encounters, she would like to help them in a way to where they don't go through those hardships as well. She looks forward to serving the town of Vinton, and congratulations, Officer Walsh. Officer Walsh will be pinned by her mother, Kelly Walsh. Ms. Susan Johnson, if you could come forward for the swearing in. You stand back up.
Raise your right hand, repeat after me. I, Stephanie Nicole Walsh,
I, Stephanie Nicole Walsh,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Virginia,
the Constitution of the State of Virginia,
and the Code of the Town of Benton,
and the Code of the Town of Benton,
and that I will faithfully
and that I will faithfully
and impartially
and impartially
discharge and perform
discharge and perform
all duties
all duties
incumbent upon me
incumbent upon me
as a police officer
as a police officer
of the Town of Benton, Virginia,
in the Town of Benton, Virginia,
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Congratulations again.
I'll call you back up here in a second.
The next officer I would like to introduce is Officer Daniel Valadares. Officer Daniel Valadares was raised in the town of Benton and graduated from William Byrd High School in 2012. He spent time in Dallas, Texas, where he studied for a degree in student ministries and worship at Messenger Bible College. He met his wife, Casey Valadares, while at college, and together they spent the next 9 years traveling and serving in the youth ministries department in different places around the country. They moved to the Roanoke area in 2019 and have taken time away from ministries to plant their family and raise their 3 children. His wife is currently a daycare director for the local daycare. Prior to this career, Officer Valadares served as a youth pastor at Life Tabernacle in Benton. It has always been his dream to be a police officer, and he is grateful for the opportunity to serve as a member of the Benton Police Department and hopes to help create some positive impacts like the officers before him. Officer Daniel Valadares will be penned by his wife, Casey Valadares.
I, Daniel Marcel Valadares,
I, Daniel Marcel Valadares,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Virginia,
the Constitution of the State of Virginia,
and the Code of the Town of Benton,
and the Code of the Town of Benton,
and that I will faithfully
and that I will faithfully
and impartially
and impartially
discharge
discharge
and perform
and perform
all duties incumbent upon me
all duties incumbent upon me
as a police officer
as a police officer
of the Town of Benton, Virginia,
of the Town of Benton, Virginia,
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my abilities.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you, ma'am.
The next officer I would like to introduce is Trinity Odie. Officer Trinity Odie is 21 years old. Makes me feel old because he was actually born after I graduated high school. He's wrestled for 6 years at William Byrd. He graduated in 2019 from William Byrd High School. In his free time, he likes to hunt and spend time with family and friends. Prior to this career, he was a welder for 2 years. His girlfriend, Morgan, and him are expecting their first child in March. And we also learned at the shooting range that Officer Odie has sensitive hands. He will be pinned by his girlfriend, Morgan, and his sister, Brianna.
Raise your right hand. I, Trinity Allen Odie,
I, Trinity Allen Odie,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Virginia,
the Constitution of the State of Virginia,
and the Code of the Town of Vinton,
and the Code of the Town of Vinton,
and that I will faithfully
and that I will faithfully
and impartially discharge
and impartially discharge
and perform
and perform
all duties
all duties
incumbent upon me
incumbent upon me
as a police officer
as a police officer
of the Town of Vinton, Virginia,
of the Town of Vinton, Virginia,
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You want your signature?
Congratulations.
To the family and friends that are here for these three officers, we're going to step outside in just a few minutes. We're going to introduce, their town's going to introduce a few more employees, and after that, we'll all step outside so everybody can take pictures.
Before you folks leave, I'd like to just say a word about our new officers. Chief Drummond, were you,
We'll call them up here.
Okay.
I got to do this. I get excited and I forget things.
me too.
Congratulations to the three of you. We are blessed to have you in our community. We're blessed that you were joining a profession that we wholeheartedly love and believe in. And it's always a joyous occasion when such young people join it. And we look forward to learning from you and you learning from us and serving alongside each other. I ask that all three of you stand up and come over here and shake the hands of our staff and elected officials.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
I agree with Donna. Thank you all once again.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, folks, for the ceremony. Obviously, we all want to congratulate you on a great achievement, graduating from the academy, and welcome you to the town of Vinton. Very excited to have you here. And thank you for making your commitment to serve your fellow man here in the town of Vinton. You know, it's, to me, it's times like this that I really become encouraged and excited about where we live and about the future of the town of Vinton and actually this country. It's easy to focus in on the negative things that go on in this country, but we have a great future, and it's because of people like we've seen here tonight. So thank you, and thank you for encouraging us. Welcome. Council, anything else you want to say?
Yeah, I would like just, like you said, so young and starting out, a lot smarter than a lot of our other officers because they all came from somewhere else. So you're starting at the best place to start with. So, oh, sorry, Devil. Didn't mean to point you out. No. But welcome. We're blessed here to have a wonderful police department. That takes pride in our officers, just like we take pride in the town. So it looks like you guys will fit in just perfect. So thanks for coming on board with us.
Thank you, sir. Ma'am?
I appreciate if they come from anywhere to serve in Benton, but I especially like to see William Byrd graduates. That's really
Cool.
great. Be back where you learned and grew up some. I like that, and I appreciate you guys. And be safe.
Yes. Yeah, thank-
You're coming to work for one of the finest police departments in this land. I mean, that's, my heart goes back to it at age 19. But you've got a support staff from the administration, from council and the administration, the chief and the deputy chief, and the great work that they do. It's a great community. We're glad. I mean, there's a lot of different avenues out there of people in law enforcement that you could go to, federal and state and other jurisdictions. But, we're proud that you came to us. Thank you for coming to us. Thank you for helping us keep this town safe, and we wish you the best and work every day.
Okay, thank you, folks. Any other comments? As I say, welcome. We certainly appreciate you being here. Very excited about that. All right. Did you guys need to have your pictures in the hallway now, or did?
No, sir, we'll wait
Okay.
till this ends.
Sorry. All right, with that, we'll move on to some other festivities. Introduction of new employees. Mr. King?
Mr. Mayor and council members, I have the honor of introducing Carrie Kessler as our new senior financial analyst. Proud to say that we're finally fully staffed in the finance department after a lot of trial. But Carrie holds a double major in both accounting and finance from Radford University. Throughout her college career, she served in internship roles for both the United Way of Montgomery, Radford, and Floyd as an accounting and finance intern. And then she later interned in Richmond as an audit intern for the Virginia Office of the State Inspector General. Carrie most recently worked as an accountant for the Girl Scouts at the Virginia Skyline Council. While working there, her duties included all aspects of accounts payable and receivables, budgeting, bank reconciliations, monthly analytics, and a few other duties as they came up and presented themselves. Prior to joining the Girl Scouts, Carrie worked for Berglund Automotive for 6 years. While working at Berglund, she earned 2 internal promotions and eventually worked as the business manager for the Ford dealership in Salem. At Berglund, her duties included accounts payable, bank reconciliations, commission calculations, payroll, organization of financial statements, and many other duties. Carrie is also a notary public in the state of Virginia, has held this designation since 2016. She lives close by in Roanoke City with her husband Joseph of 4 years. And she brings a wealth of accounting and finance knowledge, much of which was in the nonprofit sector to our team, and we are incredibly glad to have her on board with the town of Benton. So, Carrie, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Carrie, we certainly want to welcome. Sorry, I jumped the gun. But we do want to welcome you, Carrie. I'm certainly impressed by all your experience and education, so very excited to have you on board.
Yep.
Okay, Chastity, your turn.
Oh, almost jumped the gun.
Hello, everyone.
And good evening.
Hello. Thank you for having us tonight. No, it's with my pleasure to announce that we have a new employee, and we're excited. And Caroline is now completing our team, so it's very nice to have a full house. Her and her fiance reside in Roanoke, and she has a Bachelor of Arts from Warren Wilson College, and she is certified in ServSafe and has worked in the hospitality industry for the last 10 years. with her most recent job at Bellevue Winery. I've been practicing that for the last hour. On her off time, she loves live music and cuddling with her fur babies. She's excited about working with the town and seeing what Vinton's all about. She actually made her first booking yesterday, so I'm very excited about that. And we're truly blessed to have Caroline. She's already been a great addition to the team. And I have to brag because the other girls are here too, but we're completely booked till the middle of January at the community center and at the War Memorial. So we're really excited to have her on board because we need some more woman power in the building. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, we can do everything.
Thank you. Thank you. Good to see you. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Welcome. Good to have you.
Is there any more awards?
So Chastity, I won't ask you to repeat the name of that college again, but I am curious about where did you say you graduated from?
Warren Wilson College is in Asheville, North Carolina.
Okay, okay,
Yeah,
good.
but I'm from Franklin County.
Okay,
originally, so
great, thanks.
back in town. Yeah.
That's great. Caroline, we certainly want to welcome you. Sounds like you've hit the ground running. So, all right. With that, we will move on to the next item, which is our friend Mr. Randy Lehman is going to have a report about the Historical Society. Good evening, Randy.
Hello. As always, we appreciate council and staff's invitation to come and provide what you call our annual meeting. Sometimes we do a little bit better than once a year, but we like to kind of take a little time to think about our fiscal year and what's happened and what we've been doing and what we're going to do. And we certainly want the town and the public here, citizens, to know what we're doing. And needless to say, the directors and the volunteers all appreciate the support that the town council members and the citizens provide to the organization. In addition to financial support provided, staffing and additional funds through the collaborative agreement, we have enjoyed the steady support of projects both within and without our building by the Vinton Public Works Department. On this very day and over the last few weeks, we've had the department preparing forms, pouring concrete to improve sidewalks and curbing, which seems sure to turn our little humble space into what I would consider another beautiful Vinton public space. Of course, with that comes a few responsibilities. We are temporarily closed because there's so much going on. It's become a little bit dangerous, not only for our staff, but also for people that want to come into the museum. Sure. But I think it'll be well worth the wait. Okay, we've had a very busy schedule of events thus far in 2022, and I'll name a few quickly. May 7th, Roanoke Valley Dulcimer Concert, the June 4th Ice Cream Social, the August 6th concert by musician Dan Hildebrand, and of course, our annual August the 27th yard sale, which this past year, fortunately, earned us a little over $2,000. In addition, the museum participated in the Vinton Fall Festival, October the 8th, which included William Byrd High School's Beta Club and the Arnold Burton Communication class as volunteers. This event included participation by the Thrasher Memorial United Methodist Church quilters who exhibited and sold their works, and also the museum's sale of holiday items. And finally, most recently, on September the 8th, we welcomed author Dan Smith, late of the Roanoke World Times and World News, who introduced some of his publications, specifically his most recent one called News, and also one called Clog. He actually wrote a book about clogging in far southwest Virginia. And just in the packet that I prepared, I have given the calendar of the events for the balance of the year for both staff and the members of council. On September the 28th, 2022, the directors adopted bylaws, which I've attached as a reference as well. We have never had a set of bylaws. And we kind of discovered that sometimes that helps when you've been incorporated for almost 38 years. Okay, well, what else is new? New to us this summer, and I'll look back here at, well, she's outside right now, but Debbie Adams. We now have a regular weekly column in the Vinton Messenger that's dedicated to the museum and its holdings. Each week, it will feature an item description and history of one of our artifacts. Judy Cunningham, our executive director, has been doing some of that work, but we also have encouraged some of our other volunteers that are just waiting to get online for one of those reports. Okay, inside the museum, we're today more than ever updating and creating computer records of the complete collection of items. This inventory will be digitized and photos available to the public in the future. This collection includes all of William Byrd High School's composite photos of students that we're in the process of repairing and photo documenting. And on the finance front, I think I'm going to kind of shorten this because I don't know that we have to. We are providing all the financial records that we have, including every single thing we paid for in the past year. But rather than go through the list of that, needless to say, we've had a slight negative cash outlay because of some remarkable expenses. But generally speaking, we're within 5 to 7% of our budget. So we're happy about that. Okay, we have continued to maintain a vigorous social media presence both within and without our Town of Vinton base. To remind everyone, our organization administers 2 Facebook groups, Vinton Memories and History and Vinton History Museum. For the month of October alone, that former page, Vinton Memories and Histories, commanded 41,798 views and 474 comments, and also includes a total of 4,238 members. The latter page, Vinton History Museum, has 2,300 members. It enjoyed 18,156 views with 187 persons commenting. Okay, and interesting, the top post was visit the Vinton History Museum and see thousands of artifacts. It had almost 1,000, 969 views and 31 comments.
Wow.
And one other little bit of information that I think is interesting is that the metadata indicates that 68% of all viewers combined in both Facebook groups are women and 32% are men. In fact, I can even break that down to tell you that the largest individual decile group is people over the age of 65, which I thought was interesting too. Teenagers, not so much. And this is my final topic, subject to bring before council this evening, which will require some review and concern by the council and staff. For many years, the society has dreamed of installing an elevator to allow access to the second floor, not only for visitors of special needs, but some of our seniors who have limitations when it comes to stairs. We have taken the first step in securing a design and architectural firm, Hill Studio, for a proposal to include this elevator for our future improvements to the museum. And we've included this document in our submission for review and approval going forward at our expense. And just as an aside, I have received a courtesy review of this by a very well-known architect in town who tells me that he thinks it looks like a good proposal. If you later on, if you want to know who it is, I can tell you. He doesn't mind. He just doesn't want to publicize it. But we're very excited about it. It's a residential type construct, not a commercial elevator. I think you'd all be surprised by the limited cost that this is, and we didn't know this until we started to research it. So we're actually carrying a preliminary budget of $55,000, and our effort to conclude this project will necessarily include fundraising, with the commencement of that fundraising to be determined. And we do have to make a decision on the current proposal prior to December the 31st of this year. And I will entertain any questions. If it's really detailed, I'll have to go get my folder, but I don't mind.
You're prepared though, right?
Yeah. We don't have any exact figures on volunteers and visitations, but it's in excess of 1,000. We've had a great number of groups. We've been surprised. We've had reunion groups that have come in. We've had church groups that have come in, as many as 66 people at a time, and we've known enough ahead of time that we've been able to actually call in additional volunteers. We've had interns almost continuously, except between January and the 1st of March. I think that's a tough time to do that. We currently have a young lady from Hollins that's doing research work, and a couple of other ones that are doing part-time work. But we've been very successful, and we actively recruit interns, both high school and college interns. The number of volunteers, if you include the ones that have, I hope they're not one-timers, but the Beta Club and the folks that are with the Arnold Burton class, that was kind of a one-off, but we've kind of talked to them, and we've given them every single one of them left with a volunteer sheet. But if you count those as well, then we've had more than 39 involved volunteers in 2022. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good job.
And things are looking great. We appreciate what you've done, the gazebo, what's come about with the gazebo, the new sign. I mean, I can't say enough. And the fact that Public Works figured out what was going on with leaking in our basement that kept us from spending $30,000. So
Wow.
we appreciate that, and our budget appreciates that.
Awesome. That was great.
Any other questions, or?
Mayor, I have one comment. Randy supplied those documents he's referring to me prior to the meeting, so I will send those out to council and staff.
And I sent them late.
Because I didn't have time, I didn't print them, but the ones he's referring to in this, I'll get them to you all.
Great.
Yeah.
So
Thank
you
you.
can see the drawing and the other items.
Great. Thank you. Thank
Tell
you
us
for
what
that.
you think of the bylaws.
We will. Randy.
Yes.
Randy, if you don't mind, just for the folks who haven't seen the renderings yet, this is an external element.
It is.
So it actually operates on the outside of the building. It doesn't modify anything on the interior of the building other than taking a window.
We have two windows in the dining room, which is the closest to Maple Street, the front of the building. There's a window there, and what we call our trades room on the second floor, the window is directly above, and that will just be an open, those frames will be removed, and then there'll be a footing put out there and block built up, and all the mechanicals will be there. There's no winch, there's no chain, it's essentially operated mechanically.
Pretty simplistic.
It's very simplistic, yeah.
Yeah. Great.
And obviously we're going to, on the outside, so just to make sure that the council and staff knows that the outside with the essentially the siding, it will be made to blend in even the cap for the roofing. So.
Cool.
Awesome. Awesome.
Don't know that we can get original limestone like we have on the foundation, but if we can find it, we'll do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, Randy.
Good job.
Thank you.
Thank you, Randy. Great report. And
Happy late birthday, by the way.
Yeah, happy birthday. Great report, Randy, and appreciate your efforts in and the architects and I'm sure staff in making sure that the elevator doesn't detract from the building too much, because I think it's important since it's a historical building, the historical society and all that that we retain as much as that.
We decided not to do it, then Hill Studio would probably insist on it. So. I mean, seriously, I think that's the way they feel about it.
Yeah, well, they're great. There's no doubt, and certainly appreciate what you folks do. We were just so fortunate here in town to have people like you that are dedicated to that project, because in all honesty, I doubt that it would exist without your leadership and, of course, all the volunteers. So we certainly appreciate what you do. It's quite an asset for this town, particularly a town of this size. So thank you, guys. Okay, and with that, we'll move on to the next item, which is citizens' comments and petitions. Don't see anyone that would have any comments, so with that, we'll move on to the briefings, and we'll start tonight with Nathan, who's going to tell us a little bit about the comprehensive plan amendment, which we've seen a few times already, but that was a subtle hint, Nathan.
I think he didn't want you to read it. Is what he was saying.
Maybe not so subtle, right?
Well, I'll keep everything brief. Just a good summary of
the proposal to adopt and incorporate by reference an amendment to the written comprehensive plan. So the importance of adopting this plan, the Route 24 bike ped plan, as an amendment to a comprehensive plan. Number one, it ensures that all the improvements within this transportation plan are eligible for future VDOT funding. So in order to be eligible for a lot of those VDOT grants, it has to be within a regional or local plan. Within this project area, as you all are familiar with this plan, that some of these projects may not be regional in nature. So having this local plan adopted in our comprehensive plan will cover that basis. Additionally, it solidifies and legitimizes the work of the 2 steering committees that worked on this project, and the town staff and Vinton residents, and you all who helped make this plan a possibility. So just a brief overview of the study. So the study was conducted through a GAP grant, which is an acronym for Growth and Accessibility Planning. It was over a $100,000 study that was funded through OIPI, which is the Virginia's Office of Intermodal Planning and Investment. There was no match to the town, so this study did not cost the town any kind of financial contribution, except for obviously staff time, and but there was no dollar amount associated with the town on this. So just stepping back, the study area, which was identified as that central loop in that heart of Vinton, the center of Vinton. It was the area of South Pollard, Washington, Bypass, and Hardy and Virginia Avenue. Obviously, we expanded past those, and also we entered the interior of the Jefferson Park neighborhood. So it wasn't just the Route 24 areas, even though it's called the Route 24 bike plan. The Route 24 was more the backbone from which we worked from as the major corridor through Vinton, and then we would focus on this local minor arterial streets. So it was guided by 2 steering committees throughout the entire process. One was a community steering committee made up of individuals on our business partners, citizens. Mr. Mayor, you're on that committee, and other individuals in the community to provide a citizen view of all the improvements and recommendations that we were looking at. Also, as well as a technical steering committee, which was made up of transportation experts and town staff, and more of the technical expertise to provide on different facets of the project. Throughout the entire project, there was also public involvement. So there was a public meeting on October 21st, which was also, we also had an interactive online survey that people were able to complete. The survey was well more attended than the first meeting that we had. But the final public meeting we had on March 2022 was well attended, where we presented the recommendations and gave everyone the final chance to see the recommendations, give their final input before we finalized the plan in May of this year. So the stages in the development of the plan, we conducted an existing conditions analysis. This was just looking at what we had in that area, looking at the street, and just a very technical standpoint about the land use on the parcels adjacent to all the corridors we're looking at, roadway width, on-street parking, the average daily traffic. Once we knew what we had about what the roadway width and the traffic data, our consultants also looked at all the past plans, both local and regionally, to make sure we weren't duplicating efforts, and also to pull from what we've already foundationally built on. Those plans that they looked at were ones that were already adopted and incorporated into our comprehensive plan. They're either within our comprehensive plan, or they're regional plans that we also, once again, have adopted or were adopted by our regional TPO over time. So once we had the existing conditions and the past plans and studies in front of us, and the consultants to conduct that research, we moved forward to building a toolkit of bike and ped improvements. The list of improvements and the idea of having a toolkit was to ensure that we weren't just focusing on a corridor by corridor improvement and focusing on a street by street, but we actually wanted to have a list of improvements that we could apply to certain scenarios and certain situations on all the streets we were looking at. So the first toolkit had to do with sidewalk gaps. Pretty straightforward. What do you do if you have a sidewalk gap? Build the sidewalk. So you fill the gap with the sidewalk. You can also use crosswalks, on-street pedestrian walking areas, and just implement different types of sidewalks in different areas. What we would do on Virginia Avenue would be different. We did what kind of sidewalk we would implement or crosswalk we would do in a more residential neighborhood area. Additionally, signalized intersection enhancements. A great example of this is with our PSAP grant, what we did at Washington and Pollard a few years ago with the push buttons, crosswalks, countdown signals. So that was a pedestrian improvement. We also completed that intersection improvement at Hardy and Vineyard Road as well in that same time frame. Uncontrolled crossing enhancement, it's just a fancy word for a mid-block crossing, a crosswalk that isn't at an intersection. So it's much like what we're doing right now at Gus Nix Boulevard and on Hardy Road. There's also some creative concepts called the slow street concept, which involved isolating certain corridors as to let drivers know that certain areas of the town there's going to be pedestrians. So you could use speed bumps or speed tables, paint signage, wayfinding signage, just to know that these areas are dedicated to slow streets, that you may see individuals and you're going to see people using these specific areas of neighborhoods. And then bike lanes, that's straightforward. And then the downtown toolkit that they provided for us, which thankfully with all the past grants we've done, actually our downtown is well suited with the downtown toolkit that they provided. So using the toolkit, we actually were able to develop an objective matrix so that the selection of the recommended corridors wouldn't be subjective based on someone's personal perception of where they live or what they thought was an improvement. So the first thing was for us to develop a matrix. So we had certain metrics, including traffic stress, the community need, and project viability. Traffic stress had to do with how safe a pedestrian or cyclist would feel on a road. The community need just had to deal with community features, how close you are to a bus stop, the walkability, the connectivity. And then the viability had to do with how financially feasible the project would be, the scale of it, the readiness, the existence of right-of-way that we can implement the project as well. So using that, we were able to run it through the matrix and find out which project scored higher, and then that steering committee were able to select specific project recommendations from that list to develop more robust cost estimates. So our engineering consultants were able to actually develop some conceptual costs. Everything's constantly changing, but we were able to pick some really solid projects that we would not only have to implement in the specific areas listed within that plan on the table, but we could implement these sidewalk projects, intersection improvements, slow street concepts, lane reconfigurations, and road improvements in other parts of town as we see fit over time. So this is a robust plan. We're able to use the toolkit to implement the improvements in other areas that we find in the future that we may have overlooked. And also we're able to isolate the areas that we did look at and already have a plan in place when the time comes. Adopting the plan doesn't mean the town has to move forward on the specific recommended improvements or projects listed. These are example projects that we wanted to get cost estimates on based on the recommendations. But thankfully, beyond the 6 projects that we use to prioritize, there's a whole plethora of projects that are listed. So once again, going back to that funding question, if we ever need to have it in a local plan, we do have all of the corridors looked at listed, so we could they would be eligible for future VDOT funding if necessary. So that's the importance of having it adopted and incorporated as an amendment. And then obviously the next steps after this briefing, there's no action necessary tonight. We're meeting with our Plan Commission this Thursday, and then we'll have a public hearing that same Thursday night, and then we'll meet back here on November 15th for the public hearing for the vote on adopting and amending that, or adopting and incorporating it by reference that plan as a part of our comprehensive plan. So pending your questions, that's the summary.
Good job, Nathan. Council, any comments or questions?
You answered my questions there at the end.
Yeah, you covered a lot. Yeah.
Good job.
And Nathan, at the beginning, certainly didn't want to cut you short because this is very, very important. A couple of things I just wanted to kind of emphasize. Thus far, this has been no cost to the town. And, well, I mean, staff time, of course, you know. And this is actually necessary to have things like this in place if we expect to get future grants and funding. Am I correct there?
Correct.
Yeah. And the other thing you mentioned I thought was really significant too is, I know the name of it is Route 24, but there's a lot in this plan that it's not just Washington Avenue. And I was particularly intrigued by all the information and study that was done for what I would call the interior part of the town between Washington and Virginia. And, you know, we talked about sidewalks and street improvements and stuff like that, you know. So I think the planning, the fact that it includes all that is really, really important. And of course, you mentioned crosswalks and all that. The other thing that I think is significant about this, you folks, I hope you'll forgive me, but I think this is really important as part of our comprehensive plan. In other words, this is where we want to go in the future. And the way I look at it, and as some council members and I have talked about it, our folks in town didn't hire us and you guys just to take care of problems of today. That's part of our jobs, but also to plan for the future. And that's the reason our comprehensive plan is so important. And when we have to make amendments like this, it's vitally important. Our council has talked for years about making our town more walkable, and I think we've made strides in that, great strides. But this plan helps us to move that further down the road. There's several reasons in my mind that that's important. Number one, our current citizens will benefit by walks and improved streets, sidewalks and improved streets, certainly from safety and transportation aspect. But also, I think a town of our size will have to be walkable and will have to present that type of transportation for future generations, because all indications that's what they're going to want. They want bicycle ways and pathways and walkways. So I think all this is very important. Did I get off too far there, my friend?
No, I couldn't have said it better. I completely agree. Actually, the main premise behind even applying for this grant was the overall vision of someone being able to walk from downtown Vinton all the way to down Washington, the bypass, to complete that full loop. That was originally the main goal was pedestrian oriented. Obviously, with it being a bike and pedestrian, a pedestrian and bike study, we included bicycle improvements, but the original goal and vision was the ability for someone to either walk from downtown to Lake Drive Plaza on Vineyard Road, or there's even some regional implications, and obviously for the town with the Greenway connecting the Glade Creek Greenway all the way to Wolf Creek Greenway as well, in addition to the on-street bike accommodations as well. But I completely agree. You covered it great.
Yeah.
Really.
Really, really important stuff. I like the way our attorney boils it down. Bicycles, yes, right?
Good.
Yeah. So, well, thank you very much. Great report, Nathan.
Thanks, Nathan.
Thank you.
And with that, we'll move to Mr. Bo Herndon. It's your turn. Your turn to bring us up on public works projects, please.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Mayor, member of councils. I'll be a whole lot faster than Nathan. No, I just want to give you an update on some projects that we've completed over the last few months. We'll start with the worst one, the signal lights. We are still waiting.
Oh, wow.
We talk every week, and it's still supply, trying to get material in. They were here 2 weeks ago and was able to run some wire. So when they do show up, the other parts show up, they'll be able to make that work a whole lot faster, so that has been done. I'd like to tell you it's going to happen next week, but if that's not going to happen. So, but hopefully soon. So it's still in the works. And with signal lights update, we are looking at other intersections and some other timing. So we've been talking to the consultants and working through that process. So hopefully once everything gets installed, we can take it next step further and synchronize all the signals and make them work like it's supposed to. So hopefully that's sometime soon, maybe a Christmas present. Hardy Road lights from bypass basically down to the town line has been installed. It was installed October the 3rd. I don't know if y'all been down through there.
Absolutely.
I was
Very
coming from
nice.
Christiansburg the other day and I seen them. So it's
They're
very
bright.
bright. They're very bright. It looks good through there. So so Keith can find his way home after
right.
going to the little store down there.
No.
Good job.
Dark down there.
Yes, it is. So that looks good. Paving paving was completed at the end of September. We got all our roads done and all of them look good.
Yeah.
We also were, with paving being done, we're going through the striping process. So we've been doing some striping. Have you noticed a few streets that have been done? So hopefully at the end of the end of next week, all the striping through the town will be completed.
Awesome.
And then the biggest thing we got coming up is November the 7th, Gulf Wright Bridge will go under work. We've got signs out, things been posted, and they start November 7th, and that'll go through. It's scheduled to be 60 days, but we're going to, and it'll probably get done in 60 days, depending on weather. We're kind of letting everybody know that might go through January. The project did get pushed back a month because of supplies. And with it being pushed back, you know, we run into, you know, the Thanksgiving holiday and the Christmas and the New Year holiday, so that might delay it some. So we got everybody on notice that it will maybe get done sometime mid-January, end of January.
Awesome. Great, great.
Other than that, has anybody got any questions?
Good job.
Council, any questions? Good job. Thank you, thank you.
I told you it'd be faster.
Good job. And Nathan did a good job too, man. It's just a lot of information, so.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I got a good friend of mine that's an attorney, and his comment always is, two things you don't forget is your wife and your attorney. And I've noticed on the agenda, there's not a comment section for the town attorney, so we should make sure we don't leave him out.
Okay, that's a good point.
Offended, Mike.
Thank you, Mike. Good point. Yeah, we don't want to forget Jeremy. And Jeremy's position is one that we have so many of them in town. There's a lot of work goes on behind the scenes. And,
Absolutely.
You know, we always see his end product, but we know it's a lot going on.
I
Not to
did tell
mention-
Pete when I noticed that my line item on the agenda had disappeared, I thought maybe that meant I was getting ready. But,
No.
Not a chance.
No.
You trying to tell me something?
That was not a hint. Okay. All right. Speaking of things disappearing, I don't see anything listed for action tonight. So, or town manager, has anything come up since this was published?
No, sir, no items requiring action, and I only have one update, and I just wanted to acknowledge all the staff who participated and council members who participated in the downtown trick-or-treating last Thursday. It's been several years since we've had that event due to COVID and some weather-related issues, but so it was nice to see all the young ones and their families out and about, and those are what makes community, so it's nice to see when
Yeah.
that happens, and it was quite the crowd, and so. But we had, I think, every department in the town represented in some capacity, but certainly Public Works and PD for their efforts to get the streets closed off and protected, and for Chastity and her staff for organizing. And we had great business participation. I think this is the most businesses we've had participate as far as handing out candy. And I believe there were 9 businesses that aren't located in downtown but wanted to be a part of it and came and set up at different locations. So that's a good sign too. So
That's
just wanted to
awesome.
acknowledge everybody's participation and look forward to the next couple events coming up with the Christmas parade and the Santa Crawl. And Chassie will provide some more information out to the general public and to council in the coming weeks. But so look, some more fun activities to look forward to. But that is all for me this evening. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. Yeah, there's always lots of good activities going on in town. And we want to particularly thank a very special group that helped with the with handing out candy, and that was the Pink Ladies, right? That was a theme from the movie, right? American Graffiti or whatever it was. No, not that one.
Grease.
Grease. Shouldn't have gone there.
He was close.
Grease.
He was close.
And yeah, that was neat. We enjoyed seeing all that. And you're right, Pete, that was a lot of fun. It was a great turnout. I don't see any committee reports, so council, I'll turn it over to you. Keith, would you like to start this evening?
Sure. Yeah, I'll just piggyback like what Pete said. I think the trick-or-treat, downtown trick-or-treat was a big success this year. Especially with, hopefully all the kids got to take advantage of it, because last night wasn't the prime weather that we had for that day, because the weather was beautiful. It was the perfect day for that, and the crowd was huge. So it was a really good, and I don't know if any other localities do that, if like around here, but like the town's set up perfect for that too. You know, it's just enough for the kids. You know,
Right.
after they walk the town, their bags are full and it's time to go. Yeah. And then the other thing, I'd just like to keep the Forbes family in our thoughts and prayers. And with Randy being here tonight, it's kind of fitting that that we had the Historical Society report tonight, and with Doug being so heavily involved with that over the years, it was fitting that you were here tonight.
Yes, it was.
That's it. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Ma'am, anything further?
It was a perfect day for trick or treat. Our town is just beautiful, and it was just alive that day and the costumes and it was a great day. It was fun.
Yep.
And also tonight, the employees we have, and we always say how great they are because they are, but tonight we're full staff in finance. We're full staff at the War Memorial. We've got new police officers. I mean, I can't say enough how everybody's doing such a good job and keeping us rolling right along. It's exciting.
It is. Ooh, good comment. Thank you. Sir?
Yeah, Councilman Lyles tells people privately all the time he'd like to be like me, and he was actually like me tonight because he named the two things I was going to name. Halloween and Mr. Forbes. But I got to say about the Halloween, and I thought about this, but everybody had great costumes. But I saw one, it was a wagon, and they'd taken the wagon and made a mouse trap. The actual mouse that had the leg that hooks and hook and everything, and had their little girl, I think
so.
about 3 years old, dressed up like a mouse, sitting where the catcher would be. I thought that was great. I mean, I told her, but anyway.
And her candy bag was a wedge of cheese.
Oh, was it? I didn't see that. Oh, was it really?
Yeah.
Okay, and then, yeah, absolutely. We all knew, I actually graduated with Mr. Forbes' son, who passed away, David, but yeah, and to the Forbes family and to him, he was definitely instrumental. They were great for the Historical Society and plus for the town of Benton, so.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You bet. We certainly want to keep the family of Doug Forbes in our thoughts and prayers. You're right about that. Doug and Maddie both have always been an inspiration. We worked with them at the Historical Society, and also they were some of the early members of the Veterans Monument Committee. They just did a lot of things in town. So they are really a big part of this town, actually.
I remember if it wasn't for Mr. Forbes, we might not have took a second look at that Gish's Mill up there above your head.
Absolutely. Yeah. You're exactly right. He was the driving force behind that. And that's a good point, yeah. So we'll keep that family in our thoughts and prayers. Also, just a quick congratulations to a leading member of our business community, Chris McCarty. I understand is celebrating retirement now. So good for him, right? So,
Cake was good.
It was delicious.
It was good, good cake at the retirement party. So, and you mentioned our staff doing a great job. They certainly do. One of the things that I don't think should be overlooked, perhaps we've glossed over this pretty quickly, maybe we shouldn't, but we have had a changeover in our finance department. Is that a complete changeover? Is everyone over there from maybe 2 years ago
With the
One-
exception of one.
One, yeah, and the important thing, they haven't missed a beat. They've done a great job over there, even with all new people, and it's always good to see great young officers like you presented here this evening.
Thank you, sir.
Awesome. All right.
Hey, Mayor, one thing, with you guys talking about the staff and everything that one thing I've noticed, and we've glossed over this as well, that we never really bring to public because no one can really see it, but the support that the staff gives everyone else, of each other. It was crowded in here tonight, and all the officers that were available were here to support our three
Yeah.
new officers, and
That's good.
people from the finance department were here supporting their employees, their new employees and stuff. So it's really good to see that it's a team effort and that everyone cares about each other.
Yep, you're exactly right. I think that kind of camaraderie goes a long way toward doing a good job for our citizens. Yeah, that comes from leadership, Mr. Manager, so thank you for that. All right, anything further to come before council meeting this evening? If not, we will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
I will second.
All in favor signify by leaving. Thank you, folks. God bless.